2 weeks ago, June 4th, specifically, we had 10 cases for, since the beginning of all this.
For months, it seemed the coronavirus would spare Uinta County, Wyoming.
We were seeing so little and feeling pretty confident.
From the beginning of the pandemic in February until early June, the county reported 10 total cases. In the few weeks since, that number has skyrocketed.
We had almost increased tenfold in 2 weeks' time, and now we're cumulative up to 120.
You can see where the cases spike in early June on this chart. Kim Profit, the nurse manager for the county, and her team traced this surge to Memorial Day weekend.
A lot of things started to point back to some parties at some bars.
Health officials aren't naming the bars or restaurants involved, but it appears on that weekend, social distancing guidelines were not followed. People let their guard down, and the result is unforgiving.
Few nights of maybe a slightly careless behavior, less caution than maybe we should have been taking, and now we're in a state where we're a little bit overwhelmed.
Per capita, Uinta County's infection rate of 718 per 100,000 aligns closely with Salt Lake County's. If this outbreak continues to spread, Profit worries Evanston, a town of just 12,000, won't have the resources to keep up.
They have 3 ICU beds, and so it wouldn't take much to fill those up.
That's why she's urging people to wear masks and avoid large indoor gatherings.
Think a lot about where you're going, especially if it's indoors, and if there's, maybe not the greatest ventilation. A lot of people, I do think it's a place to be cautious.
She hopes residents take this seriously.
If there ever was a time for caution, this is it.
If the mistakes of the holiday weekend aren't corrected, she isn't ruling out more drastic measures to stop a crisis.
Our county, we're having some discussions on, do we need to take a step back? Do we need to close things down and restrict our gatherings?
Profit encourages anyone who has symptoms or may have been in contact with somebody who's sick to get tested. The state has provided adequate resources to meet that demand. In Evanston, Wyoming, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.